We are here with Chuck and Jamie, and they are a beautiful couple that's been together for a number of years. One of my clients, Chuck, let's talk about, your situation. Of course, they don't know that me and you went to high school together, and we was class clowns, and we, ended up crossing paths later on down the road. And what you do for a living?
Well, I'm a mailman that's what I do for a living. And I just happened to find Glenn, but for the most part, we just, we was clowns. That's all we really pretty much did, was just clown around in class. And I'm just here, and I'm just happy to be here right now because I was in a major car accident about a year ago, exactly to this day, 1 year ago. And my whole life got turned upside down. I'm glad that I met Glenn when I did, and I talked to Glenn when I did, because we was able to put ourselves in a financial situation favorable.
Well, let's talk about before the car wreck. Like when we first met, I told you I did credit management, credit restoration, and do real estate investing, and we started, connecting with the real estate, and you was intrigued about it and all those things. And then with the credit, you started working with us with the credit. How did that turn out for you?
Well, with the credit situation, it turned out great. So great that I got my sister, my cousin, and some other family members involved with it. And my lovely wife, she was skeptical, but now she's great with it.
You were skeptical?
I was skeptical. I was very skeptical. But then within 6 months, we bought our first home and got a lot of things that we had never been able to get before because our credit was so bad. Then we turned it around, and I think it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to us since we were married.
Yes.
There was lots of things that we wanted and we could not get because of our horrible credit. Things that we let go when we were younger that we didn't know was going to have such a high impact on us not being able to function properly as adults as we got older. But within 6 months, we pretty much had everything that we had been wanting for years. So we are very, very pleased with the way that situation went.
Where was your credit score at when you first met, when you got with us?
I think 517.
517.
And then where did it end up at?
694 was when we actually purchased our home.
About 690, yeah.
I think you had some sevens too, like the other two scores. So.
Yeah, I think 694 was our middle score, and I think over 7 was our top score.
Yeah. And just talk about like now let's talk about your situation. Like if you wouldn't have did what you have done with so I know you was a mailman, and talk about what happened to you when it came to the crash.
All right, well, the accident, it took a lot out of me because we were pretty much stuck. But I'm so glad that we was able to get things together, get things working in the right direction. We has already got to start having our credit done, and eventually, we figured it out. We just figured it out. We had the credit, was not the greatest. It was so not the greatest, but I'm still scarred up here and there, but
what happened?
I came from working too hard. I agree. That's what I think. You think, babe? Yeah, I worked myself sleepy, and I fell asleep at the wheel.
And what was your injuries?
My injuries were 26 broken bones.
And a brain injury.
Brain injury, facial fractures, collarbone broke. My humerus bone popped out. I had a compound fracture on my arm. A humerus bone came out. My shoulder blade popped out my back. Terrifying.
So let's say you didn't work with me. Where you think you guys would be if that happened, and then?
We would have been in trouble. Our good credit allotted us, because I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 12 years. So our good credit allotted us time to almost the whole entire year that we had stayed in our house, and we paid our bills and we did all of that. Having good credit played a huge impact in that, because if we wouldn't have had that and we would have been where we were 2 years ago, we would have been in trouble.
So much trouble.
Because we did not have a savings. So credit is what helped us get through that difficult time.
Credit is king.
Yeah, now these days. So let's talk about, and it's a blessing that you're here. You're a miracle walking. I'm glad that you recovering and you where you are. And But let's talk about like what led to like you went through the credit repair and then you ended up getting a home in which you fixed up. What you ended up doing with that? What that led to?
Okay. Well, we ended up getting a home, fixed it up, like you said, and getting rid of it, selling it. We just looked at the market and we knew that it was the time to sell. So that's pretty much what we decided to do. We didn't want to do it, but we did it, and we're so happy that we did.
And what was the profit on it?
$38,700.
Have you ever seen that kind of money in your
I've
bank account?
never seen that in my bank account. Nowhere near.
So how did that make you feel? How did that? Now, was the skepticism over with, Jamie, after that?
Yes, it was over with.
So how did that make you feel, and you know, what did that do for you guys'
He
situation?
danced around the house for like 2 hours straight, just dancing and looking at the receipt from the bank.
So happy about it.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So what would y'all say, like, to other people who are skeptical with working with us? And
Don't be skeptical, just
Nope.
do it.
Pay attention to it.
So worth it. Like,
So
so
worth
worth it. I never really thought that I would be the person to say that, but I am. It's so worth it. I tell my friends all the time that are like struggling and they're barely getting by. I'm like, pay to have your credit fixed. Like, why are you paying $1,200 for rent when you could be paying $700 for a mortgage? It makes absolutely no sense to me now. So,
We don't want to be house poor.
that's excellent.
Right.
That's excellent. Well, I appreciate your time. And anything else? Any last words?
I'm just ready to do what we just did again.
Let's
So,
do it.
we're-
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's rinse, repeat.
Yes, yes. And we on the path of that. Well,
Yes.
thank y'all, and that concludes this testimonial.